This one is a fun one, solving problems using intersecting graphs. So here we go. Isabella's mathematics mark exceeded her English mark by 15. She scored a total of 145 for both tests. Find Isabella's marks in each subject by plotting intersecting graphs. So we're trying to find where these two things will exist. But basically, we need a couple of equations. So what do we know? Well, we know that her mathematics mark was 15 more than her English mark. So that means her mathematics mark was her English mark plus 15. Does that make sense? That's that first part. Mathematics mark exceeded by 15. The next one says she scored a total of 145 for both tests. So that means she got M plus E equals 145. So all of a sudden, we've got two equations, and it's got an M and an E. I'm going to call them 1, and I'm going to call them 2. Now, I would like to get it so that I can rearrange it so it looks more like a Y equals mx plus c type affair, which in this case, if you look at it, I think that this one's probably the one I want to rearrange. So I'm going to subtract E from both sides. Okay, so I end up with M equals minus E plus 145. So now it looks a lot more like what we've got in the other one. It's now in the form of Y equals mx plus b. I'm going to call that number 3. Now, we could solve them simultaneously using substitution, using elimination, but we don't need to. What we're actually going to do is we're going to graph them, and I'm going to graph that one, and I'm going to graph that one, because that is just a rearrangement of number 2. So I'm going to graph number 1 and number 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually highlight all that, and I'm going to drag it down so we can see it. Okay, so that's what we're graphing. So the first one has a gradient of 1, because there's nothing, because we're doing, instead of Y equals mx plus c, we've got m equals me plus c. So my y-intercept on this particular one is 15. For this one down the bottom here, my m is minus 1, because I've got minus e, and my y-intercept is 104, but that's terrible, equals 145. All right, so what do I do? Well, my y-intercept for the first one was 15, so it's going to be about, well, I should do it in blue so we can see it, is going to be about there, and I know it's going up 1 for 1. So if you have a look, if I want to go up 1 for 1, I can sub in some values and go, all right, well, if m was 30, what would that be? So I can do that. So if I go, let's see, if m equaled, so this one here, we've got m on this axis and e on that axis. So I've actually got to go back there and go, my y-intercept is 15. Oh, have I done that right? Yeah, no, I've done it right, haven't I? Yes. It's all right. I'm not crazy. So 15. All right. So now if I said, all right, well, what would happen if my English score was, all right, let's go 50. So I'd have 50 plus 15, which would give me 65. So if I go across to 50 and up to 65, it's about there. So that would be my score, something like that. Cool. So that is my m equals e plus 15. Now my next one is m equals minus e plus 145. So my y-intercept in this case is 145, which is about there. And I can once again chuck in another value. Let's go e equals minus 100, or equals 100. So I'd have equals minus 100 plus 145, which would equal 45. So if my e equaled 100, then my final answer would be 45. And I can now draw that line. That's really bad, Russell. I need to do that. There we go, that's pretty good. And now I have to work out approximately, because this is all approximate, where do those two lines intersect? So I have a look, and it does say find the marks in each subject by plotting intercept graphs. So it looks like they intercept about there, which is my English equals 65 and my maths equals 80. So by plotting those two graphs on there, I find the only two spots where this works for the 2 marks, okay? So if I now plug that E in, I would get that M into either of those equations. So if I plugged E into 1, I would get that. If I plugged it into 2, I would get that. So I would get that answer if I plugged E equals 65 into either one of those two equations. That's what we've done. Hope that makes sense.